Hi there, it's Jill Blanchette with Green Thumb Stampers. I'm here for the June 2025 Paper Pumpkin Kit, the Full of Charm kit. It's very, very pretty. Here is the first card that we're going to make. Like this. And I did make a little belly band option if you want to make a belly band to help hold it shut. But if you don't, you can just put the sentiment on the front. So you're going to start with a 8.5 by 5.5 piece of Cajun Craze. Bring in your trimmer, and we're going to score at 2 3/4 inches. I like 2 1/8, so we're going to score at 2 1/8. Turn your paper around and score again at 2 1/8. And then we can fold those lines and burnish those lines. And one of those is a little bit off. Just force the bone folder, help push that score line back. So now we have, I'm going to turn them, open them, and score them on the other side as well. So now we have our fold like so. And these don't like to stay open all that great sometimes, so that's why I said you could use a belly, or stay closed. That's why I said you could use a belly band. Then we're going to take our card like this, and we're going to cut it down, and we're going to, I'll start by cutting it at 4 1/4. Save this piece. And then we're just going to trim down a little bit. We want to trim it to 4, so I'm going to go to like 4 1/8. I'm just going to take like even amounts off from each side, then we'll come down to 4. I was trying not to cut into the design. And then this side we're going to cut down to 5 1/4, so we'll cut on the 8th here for the top. And then we'll turn it around and cut it down to 5 1/4 here. Set that aside, we'll need that again. Now I've got the overlay die cut that goes on here, and it goes on like this. And so we can add some glue to the back. I'm just gonna go and add some glue on the larger areas. That will help it stick down, stick in place better. You could put as much or as little glue as you need to, because we are going to cut it again, so we'll want to make sure that it's stuck down pretty well so that it stays glued down. We can always add a little more glue after the fact if we need to. Put some more on. Whoa. And you got to be, fairly quick, or it's going to dry as well. So let's get this guy on. My lights are going to help it dry up faster as well. So let's get it stuck down and slide that into place. Here, that looks pretty good. got a little bit of wiggle room. All right. So we've glued that on over the top. Then we're going to cut it in half. So this is 4, so we're going to cut it in half at 2 inches. So I'm going to flip it over just so my blade doesn't catch on any of those delicate areas of the die cut that we just glued on. So this way it should go through a little easier. Then we're going to glue these into, oh, see, that one didn't cut all the way through. And we'll get our glue back out. We'll put a little bit up here to glue that in place. Then we're going to glue these onto each half of the card. So this one is kind of not a whole lot of change from the kit card, and I'm going to go kind of right up to the edge of the fold. Let me see if it shows up better if I do it this way. I'm going to go right up kind of to where we cut, so that when the card is closed, it'll come together pretty close. There won't be a big gap. So now we'll put the glue on the other side. Make sure we're in the right spot. Those look pretty even. And we'll come right up to the edge. So that when it's closed, I can probably push that one back a little bit. When it's closed, they don't, there. And then, I'm gonna close up my glue for a second. Well, not really. I'm gonna open it back up. I've got a piece of Timid Tiger cut on the 1/8, so it's gonna fit in there pretty tight. So this is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. Glue this into place here. Might be zoomed in too far on this video. And now you could put another white on here for stamping, but this to me was light enough that you could stamp on it okay. So here is our card. We're going to stamp our little sentiment. Let me show you here. I'm going to use the To a Wonderful Friend. In Pretty Peacock. Line that up. And then, as I said, if you want, you can just like glue that onto the front, but if it doesn't want to stay shut, you might not like that. So you could put a smaller one and put it down here, or I will show you real quick. I took my other half and I cut this really narrow. So this piece is about 1/4 of an inch wide, or 1/2 an inch wide. So I'm just going to go like through. I guess I'm going to go 5/8. So I'm going to cut 2 strips. 2 strips at 5/8 inches wide. And then from here, it's kind of, all I did was I laid it on there like so, and I folded these up. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this side, and I'm going to glue this piece over the top, and I'm going to go right up to the edge of the card so that you don't really notice it. It has the seam in it right there. And then we'll come over on this side, do the same thing, put some glue on it. Hold that in place for a second. And cut that off. Then I just took my glue. You could pop this up if you wanted. And glued that right to the center. So, very subtle. I didn't want to take away from the flower on the front too much. I was going to add some more greenery and stuff from the kit to it, but I didn't want to take away from the die cut. So then that'll just pop off. And then there's the inside of your card. And again, you don't need the belly band if you don't want it, but you do have some extra card from when we cut this off. The back portion of the card is extra, so we will use it in, that does not want to slide for me. We will use it in a couple other cards that I'm going to make, but I had cut it off, so it's not going to matter that you cut it off or not for this card. So there's our first card, and I will be back with another card from this June Paper Pumpkin Kit.